Episode 3, the present perfect continuous. The tense that lives in motion, not just a memory, a movement, not just what happened, but what is still happening. You know, these days, I've been thinking a lot about the kind of English that lives with us. Not the English from textbooks, but the one that walks beside us every day. The one that shows up in the middle of a busy week, in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of something we didn't even plan to say. And that's the English I want to talk to you about. Maybe you've been learning English for years, and still, when someone asks a simple question like, "What have you been doing lately?" you freeze, not because you don't know the answer, but because something blocks it from coming out. Something between your thoughts and your tongue. And that moment, that tiny pause, is where so many stories disappear. So you've learned the past tense. You've practiced saying things that happened and ended. But what about the things that remain, the actions that didn't just happen? They shaped you. And maybe they're still shaping you. The English language has a way of expressing that. And it's not just about grammar. It's about connection between past and present, between who you were and who you're still becoming. Remember the present perfect? It's that bridge between where you've been and where you are, the present that still carries a trace of the past. But today we go further. That's where we shift from experience to action, from what shaped you to what's shaping you now. Welcome to the present perfect continuous. Imagine a path, one you started walking a while ago, and you're still on it. That's the present perfect continuous. It's not about where you were. It's not about where you are. It's about the walk itself, the effort, the persistence, the emotion behind still doing something. I've been trying to understand. You've been learning. We've been building. These aren't just actions. They are stories in progress. You know how we talked about experience? Moments that happened but still matter? That's the present perfect. But now we shift our focus, not on the result, not on the story you can tell after, but on the process you're still living, the effort, the action, the rhythm. That's the present perfect continuous. It's not about saying, "I've finished." It's about saying, "I've been working on it." Not an experience, a memory, but a movement, a present that's still in progress. So let's talk about how this tense actually works. Not the rule, but the rhythm. When you speak in the present perfect continuous, you're using not one, but two helping hands. One says, "I've been." The other says, "doing." I have plus been plus verb ing. It's like a dance. The first step holds the time, have or has. The second step holds the movement, been. And the third is your action, always in motion. This tense is not about what happened. It's about what is happening still. I've been learning. You've been growing. She's been waiting. We've been trying. And that last verb, it's always alive. It's always in motion. You can't use just any verb here. Some verbs, like know, believe, want, don't show action. They show state. They don't move. they exist. These are called non-action verbs, and they remind us of something powerful. Not everything can be described by motion. Some things are just there, still, quiet, deep. You wouldn't say, I've been knowing, or she's been believing, because those stories aren't about action. They're about presence, emotion, state of being. And if it's a movement, then it's also a process. And like every process, it leaves signs, marks of time, words that tell us this is still happening. Words like lately, recently, for a while, since this morning, all day, for the past few weeks. These aren't just expressions of time, they are evidence, proof that something is unfolding, that a story is in progress, even if it's quiet, even if it's invisible. And sometimes we don't just describe the process, we notice it. We see the signs, the messy kitchen, the tired eyes, the noise upstairs, and we say, someone's been cooking. You've been crying. They've been working all night. That's the present perfect continuous, used not to share what we've done, but to guess what's been happening through the clues it leaves behind. So remember, the present perfect continuous is not just a tense, it's a timeline in motion, a sentence that breathes, a life that's still being written. Keep walking your path, keep noticing the signs, and keep honoring the process because you've been growing every step of the way. You've just listened to Beyond Fluency, a podcast for those who choose to speak with meaning. I'm Maju Toledo. I'll be back next week. Until then, speak slowly, listen deeply, and stay present.